We chant the four great Bodhisattva vows. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to help them all. Illusions are countless. We vow to see through them all. Opportunities to awaken are infinite. We vow to embrace them all. The Buddha way is endless. We vow to embody it. So we'll start with our 15 minutes of seated meditation. So we'll chant the Gatha on opening the sutras. This Dharma, incomparably profound and minutely subtle, is rarely encountered, even in hundreds of thousands of millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, hold and maintain it. May we completely realize the true mind of all Buddhas. Okay, so it's spring. Tree buds sprout green leaves, birds sing in dawn and dusk, and motorcycles roar down Route 9. So I'm going to mute my microphone and listen to Robert Coho Epstein.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, it is part of the welcoming of spring. It's actually still light out, which is really a nice treat. And the weather is good. So with that environment supporting me, I'd like to ask the question today, who are we? I doubt that we'll reach a decisive conclusion today, but it's worth entertaining. And this question references the most popular of the Zen Huatus or Huadus. That is a koan question that challenges our understanding of our true nature as beings. So who are we? My name is Robert, and my Dharma name is Coho. Am I my name? Does my name represent me? Which one of those names is more accurate? My friends in Brooklyn and Queens when I was growing up called me Epstein. Hey, Epstein. So is that a different person than when my mom called me Robert with her Brooklyn accent? It seems to me that the name Robert or Coho is just a designation. Now, we've recently heard a talk here about the Diamond Sutra and how it says that those titles and names and designations and name and form are just ways of referencing things. They're just concepts. Now, my name has a meaning, but that meaning is assigned to it. It's not inherent. As Shakespeare said, Zen master Shakespeare, what's in a name? A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. I'm not going to get into how we may or may not smell on various occasions, but we are the same person no matter what we may be called. By agreement, when I hear the name Robert, I snap my head around like Pavlov's dog and start to drool. Well, I don't actually drool unless there's something really good on the stove for dinner, but I do respond to my name. One of the old Zen masters pointed out that there's something that responds when our name is called. He called a monk's name, and when the monk turned around, he said, "What was that just made you turn around?" Like most Zen masters, he asked the question rather than answering it and accessed the old Huatu, who am I, in yet another way. So what is my identity? Who am I? Am I my body? You know those movies where the pod people take over a body and they are inhabited by a completely alien personality? The body looks the same, but the person is no longer there. The same thing happens when I'm asleep or in a coma. The body is still lying around, but I'm not really present. So who or what is the I that is no longer present in that situation? The great Chan master Su Yun put this in stark terms with his favorite Huadu. He liked to work with the question, who is carrying this dead body around, in reference to his own body. That's a pretty extreme way of expressing that we are not contained or defined by the physical body. We certainly have a physical body, and that body contains some remarkable organs and functions, and it is also the control panel for our mind, emotions, thoughts, and senses. So it's a pretty important control panel, but does all that equipment constitute a person? We can't really do without the body, but on the other hand, when I'm asleep, I temporarily let go of that relationship and don't really lose anything by it. I can run around in the dream body experiencing this and that, and I think it's just as real as when I'm awake. Then I wake up and I re-inhabit my ordinary relationship to my body again and call it myself. I'm not one of those people who says that all of this demonstrates that there is no self at all, just that we may be suffering from a case of misidentification. One of the famous New Age gurus, Werner Erhard, once said that the delusion of a separate self is like thinking that you are your nose. You're fixated on your nose and you have lost track of all the other parts of yourself. You can imagine how inconvenient this would be if it was a literal situation. Well, we're sort of like that in a way. We're fixated on our personal organism, the experience of our personal senses, and the sense of separation that comes with the tactile and visual awareness of the boundary of our skin. Yet we all breathe the same air, inhabit the same earth, eat the same food that comes from the earth, and recycle ourselves back into the same earth. Our consciousness, which makes us sentient beings, is the same in all of us. Another way of saying that we all have the same Buddha nature, the root capacity of being a living being and knowing what that living quality is. Does a dog have Buddha nature? Woof, woof. So when I meet another person and I think I am me and they are them, that's certainly true in a certain physical way. Yet as soon as we see each other, we enter into relationship. What is primary, the self or the relationship? That's a decision that each of us makes with our senses and our minds. How do we see? How do we feel? Do we approach others with caring and camaraderie, acknowledging our mutual nature? Or do we think of our personal interests and see the other person as either an inconvenience, an obstacle, or an instrument of our own needs and desires? And I'll point out with the example of the current situation in Ukraine, that when a country thinks it has a separate identity that needs to overpower others, all hell breaks loose. When we see that we may have a larger identity, or at least a less physically defined one than we may have thought, we also have the possibility of temporary relief from the items of self. The Buddha said that these items of self were not really of the self. We just vainly try to own them and create suffering by doing so. We hope to control our circumstances, our environment, and more subtly, our experience, perception, thoughts, and feelings. But none of that is really under control. Do we choose our thoughts and feelings? Not really. But we still think they're ours because they appear in what seems to be our interior self. In meditation, we sometimes hone in on the true nature of thoughts and sensations, but we can also take a break from being a separate person at times by focusing on the experience of the space and presence that we are part of. We can even switch back and forth from what you could call the self to what you could call the non-self, or the space and presence within which the self appears. That is a true vacation, and I recommend it, but don't do this while operating heavy machinery. And remember to come on back to the lovely dual world of self and other, but also embody that essential connection that we all share. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Go get some lobster.
Yeah.
And use your blinker. So, let's have 15 minutes of seated meditation. So we'll chant the Heart Sutra. Mahaprajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when practicing deeply the Prajna Paramita, perceives that all five skandhas are empty and is saved from all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. That which is form is emptiness. That which is emptiness, form. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. Therefore in emptiness, no form, no feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no color, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of eyes, and so forth, until no realm of mind consciousness, no ignorance, and also no extinction of it, and so forth, until no old age and death, and also no extinction of them, no suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path, no cognition, also no attainment, with nothing to attain. The bodhisattva depends on prajna paramita, and the mind is no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist. Far apart from every perverted view, one dwells in nirvana. In the three worlds, all Buddhas depend on prajna paramita and attain anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore know that prajna paramita is the great transcendent mantra, is the great bright mantra, is the utmost mantra, is the supreme mantra, which is able to relieve all suffering and is true, not false. So proclaim the prajna paramita mantra. Proclaim the mantra which says gate gate para gate parasam gate bodhisvaha, gate gate para gate parasam gate bodhisvaha, gate gate para gate parasam gate bodhisvaha. We'll offer our personal dedications of merit. All sentient beings are one endless body and pass quickly from birth to death. We remember those who cared for us and are gone, those who are ill, those who are at war, who are hungry, and who are in pain. May they heal and have peace. We especially dedicate our service to Barry, Maureen, Joanne Sheridan, Brianna Bailey Sheridan, Mrs. Guy, Aunt Rose. Is there anyone else that you'd like to mention?
This week, I'd like to put my wife, Melanie, in there. She has a health issue that she's currently looking into.
Anthony.
All beings in the 10 directions, subject to the greed, hatred, and delusions of themselves and others. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honored ones, Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, Maha Prajna Paramita. Life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly by and opportunities to awaken are easily lost. Strive to realize your true nature. Do not squander your time by night or day.